What is up, y'all? It is your boy Winston Wolf. I'm back. I just want to do a quick review of The Last of Us Episode 8. Hopefully there's only 10 episodes, and it's over after that, because then maybe HBO just by accident will put out a good show. But I doubt it. I mean, because look at the level of programming they've been putting out the last couple of years, and look at who's in charge. So I don't expect anything to change anytime soon, but The Last of Us Episode 8, I wonder what the percentage of people that have played the game are watching this show, because I feel that that's ruining a lot of it. If not for me, it has to ruin it for a lot of people, because number one, and I'm not going to go through what this episode was about in chronological order. You watched it. I felt like when Ellie escaped inside the resort, the compound with those religious people, there was no tension, because you know that she's going to live, and you know that there's a second game. Even people that haven't played the game, they know there's more than one game. I mean, if you want to get even, deeper with it, pause. You're going to be like, well, she's one of the main two stars of the show. Of course she's going to live till the end. But, I mean, to a lesser extent, having played the game, a lot of this just gets ruined. And that's not really, saying much, because the show is garbage. So it's not like I'm over here, like, heartbroken. Oh, well, they didn't. No, it's not good. But let me get to something that I did like about it. Joel killing the two guys. You know what I'm talking about, because you watched the episode. And too many, especially set in a setting like this, to where there's no law, to where, a lot of people deserve to die. I've seen in movies to where they'll let people go. They'll tie them up and then go off and be like, you'll be able to untie yourself and get loose in a couple hours. By then we'll be long gone. That type of stuff. I'm glad Joel just straight first kind of tortured the dude, then killed him, then blasted the other dude's head in with a lead pipe. Bravo for that. Like, I'm literally shocked that they actually put that in there. I'm surprised they didn't tone it down. I'm surprised they didn't. I mean, not that it was super bloody or graphic or anything like that, but just the way this show is going with the woke stuff. I mean, not just this show, but HBO in general. To me, HBO has really lost that edge, especially with the past programming that they put out. But with this, it was a pleasant surprise. But it's sad because, man, what was I watching the other day? Cocaine Bear. I was watching Cocaine Bear the other day, and the whole movie is just trash. The whole movie's garbage. But there's a part where the bear jumps in the back of an ambulance, starts tearing people up. And for that small scene in Cocaine Bear, I was actually entertained. And I was like, all right. And then once that scene was over, it kind of got back to the disappointment of the movie. And I was like, why not just have a whole movie like that? That's kind of how I felt about Joel killing the two guys. I was like, okay, right there. I mean, of course you can't have a show of just somebody just straight up just killing people senselessly. But I would like a little bit more of that tone than what I've been getting with this. Also, this storyline with these, and again, I feel like stuff like this gets ruined with people that have played the game. Because there's no tension. There's no, that she's going to live. You know that there's a second game. You know that she's one of the two main characters, so she has to at least live until the last episode or the end of the second to last episode. So that ruins it tension-wise for me. Another thing that bothered me about it was the whole, when they run into Ellie, by they, I mean the crazy cult, whatever, religious people, and they're sitting by the fire, and the other guy comes in with the gun, and he's like, no, put your gun down, she hasn't killed anybody. But then they go back to the resort, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna follow her, we're gonna find the dude. You could have did that then. You could have did, why? Just to stretch it out, just to seem like you're a cool, calculated villain? No. Also, the actors, I understand they're supposed to look homely and whatever, hillbilly-ish, whatever. I'm not scared of them. They don't have, who would have been good in this show is, have you seen, what was the third Devil's Rejects? That guy that was in Mandy that was cooking up the meth or whatever, or cooking up the acid, but he was also the third person that was in that third Devil's Rejects movie after Captain Spaulding died. That guy with the weird cheekbone muscles or whatever. Somebody like that. Get some people like that for these type of roles. They look scary. They're in that industry and getting work for a reason. All right. So I just didn't like, I felt like that storyline or that part of the story with these people should have been stretched out for 2 episodes. Because to me, that was the scariest thing. That's like I always talk about The Road and Light of My Life. It's because the humans in this situation, and you being a human, you know the dark thoughts that you've had throughout your life about various things. So think about if there was nothing holding you back and you had to do what you had to do and the people around you had to do what they had to do. Life would be a lot different, and the line between good and bad and, all that, it would have a whole nother, it'd be placed in a whole nother area. There wouldn't even be a line between good and bad. It would be what you have to do and what you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know. There was some raw in this, but then there was a little bit of the Hollywood dumb, don't make a lot of sense type stuff. Also, and I'm going to nitpick the part where the guy has his hand on the bars and he's hitting on Ellie and she grabs his hand and breaks his finger. Like, you just going to leave your hand there? Just going to leave your hand and let some little girl twist it back and break it? Okay. That's what we're doing now. All right. Also, I love how conveniently when she falls down, she just reaches back while he's choking her, which, again, this is another nitpicky movie thing that I hate, when somebody's being choked and they don't go after the person's hands around their throat to try to stop them being choked. Somehow they're with it enough to have their free hand and to just feel around until they grab a weapon. But, how fortunate was there to land within arm's length of a meat cleaver? Like, come on, man. And again, she's just weird to look at. She is a weird-looking actress. And I'm going to tell you right now, it ain't going to get better with age. It's not like you're going to be like, man, she was a weird kid, but she turned out to be, model-esque. That ain't going to happen. A model for, Purina Dog Chow. Something like that. But no, she's just, like, distractingly odd-looking. At least we didn't have to see Storm Reed in this episode. Because I couldn't deal with 2 people that look like they were born with Halloween masks on. I just couldn't do it. But also, I don't feel like, he killed the 2 dudes when he wanted to know where she was at. Cool, that's great. But I don't feel like the Mandalorian cares enough about her as he does for Baby Yoda. Yes, you have the start of 3 seasons. But remember how much he cared about Baby Yoda? What, episode 3? Was it? In the first season of The Mandalorian, you knew he cared about that child. I don't feel like he has that connection with her. Still, we're in we're 8 hours into this. 8 hours in it and still nothing. There's a couple of nitpicky things I had. I'm trying to think of what it was in the show, but I guess it doesn't matter. The show is just, we already know what's going to happen in the next 2 episodes. They're going to run into the people telling her, oh, we got to cut Ellie up and we got to, figure out what makes her tick so we can save other people, blah, blah, blah. Also, why haven't they, with this long in society, have they explained why they haven't rebuilt? Or why society isn't at least a little bit better? Because if the spores were that much of a danger, you'd have people walking around with like homemade masks on and some kind of precautions. They're not doing it. What, is everybody just lazy? They just giving up? They're just like, what's going on? It shouldn't be this bad. There should have at least been some rebuilding, some kind of, maybe in that universe, I don't know. Do they have like some extended, literature on this? Comics where they explain that there's like settlement somewhere or, something else going on, but they're just not near it? Because that's the one problem I had with Walking Dead. They just stayed in Georgia the whole time. And I'm like, dude, I live in Michigan. Michigan gets cold. Go up to Michigan once wintertime hits. Go out and just start blasting the zombies in the head with a baseball bat. Their head is going to shatter like ice. Bam, into your problem right there. So, I don't know. It's not that I was like, oh, this episode. I mean, I guess I thought that it was a bad episode. But it's just the same old stuff that's been before. I just don't like how everything looks. How it's not pleasing to the eye. The actors are not pleasing to the eye. They're not believable. It's just there. Like, this episode was just there. There was no really super glaring, bad things to point out and harp on. It's just more of just, Oh, well, I mean, maybe if this show came out in, like, the mid to late 90s and we didn't have the whole wave of fast zombies and all that, and you know what I'm saying? Maybe then, but we've been spoiled. If you're in the genre stuff, you've been spoiled. Everything. Horror, superheroes, everything. It's almost like they're going to have to re-educate us as an audience, and I don't know how they're going to do it. But I guess some people like this, so good for you. Last of Us episode 8, 0 to 10 dog bones. I give it 2.5. I'll give it 2.5. Joel did his thing killing those dudes, so